So what we should remember is that the Sikh carries many pieces of Sarblo, right? So that creates a redundancy, right? So there is, for example, the Sarblo in the turban. There's, for example, the Sarblo of the Kirpan. There is the Sarblo of the Kara, right? Then the Sikh also has the rest of the Kakar, right? Has the Kanga, the comb, right? Has the Kashera, right? The insulating underwear, right? Insulating the armor from the core, right? Protecting with an insulation zone against magic, right? So you have the different, and you have the Keish, which hides the chin, hides the face, dissimulates, and you can also program into the hair as well, spells and code. So there are many different techniques and abilities related to the 5Ks, right? So one of the worst things that could happen to you, for example, if you put down your Kara and you don't have any redundancies of Sarblo on you, and that especially touching your skin, you know, one of the things that could happen to you, now you're protected from these things if you have a steel Kara as well, though you have to make the difference in technology protection with your own technology. But the Sarblo protects because it deadens the magic. So if you put down your protection of your Sarblo, you put it down on the table, you know, well then very simply, you know, someone could just, for example, root you and freeze you, you know, and basically make it so that you can't even spiritually go get that Sarblo Kara back again. You're frozen. You're stambanat is a way of seeing it, right? So when you lose the protections of the Sarblo, you of your Kara, you make yourself very vulnerable to specific types of magic, which are aimed at hitting a specific person, right? So that's what the Sarblo protects from the most, specifically aimed magic and processes, right? So, yes, you make yourself vulnerable if you take off your protections. Now, there's a lot of other protections that someone should establish, and some people are talented in magical and mystical protections. Some people are not, and they rely on the Sarblo and different things like that, right? So, there's protections for everyone, and obviously, you have some people who are very specialized in physical things, and you have some people who are very specialized in magical things, right? As it takes a mix of all types of people in the world to make a world, right? So if you put down your protections, your Quran, and if you don't have your own personal protections and technologies protecting you in other ways, because this is not necessarily the only protection that you will establish over yourself or in your lifetime, a Quran or a Kirpan, and enchant your Kirpan potentially and start getting into different types of magic protections, right? And technologies, right? Blade technologies, mind technologies, all types of protection technologies, right? And also another way of calling those is war technologies, right? And then you have, for example, the physical lineages of war and the teachings, and you have the magical lineages of war and the teachings, right? And yes, it is true that the magic casters are the most feared, definitely. So the Kara protects. So if you put it down, you don't have any other Sarvlo, any metals on you, and you're the type of person that doesn't protect yourself spiritually, very simply, something could happen to you very quickly. You know, a spell can come and hit you, and you can even immobilize you, and you'll have very much difficulty getting out of that spell once it gets hold of you. Right? It'll root you for forever, basically, and you'll never spiritually be able to go pick up that Kara again. Right? Because it'll cut you off. So watch out. Be careful. Visualize yourself being rooted, you know, unable to spiritually go get the Quran. All these types of things can be done. So watch yourself. Wear your protections. Use your tools. Wear them at all time. Right? There's a reason the gurus have given these tools because they work, right? And they're important for protection. Now there are other ways of protecting yourself in many different cultures, etc. But this is sail really technology at its best, spiritually. You know, the Kara, the Kirpan, right? And the other tools such as the Kanga, the Kashera, the Kesh, okay? These tools are essential to spiritual mastery, right? To understand these tools. Now, in some cultures, they might not end up wearing a turban. They might not end up having a kirpan, you know. But for them, the knowledge is just as important, because the knowledge of these tools is as important as the actual tool. So it's two components. If you have the knowledge and the tool, that's best. But if you have the knowledge and the ability to spiritually put in place these tools with technologies, by understanding the principles behind the tools, then you can develop on the spiritual lineages of magic as well, and magical protections and spiritual protections. There's some people for spiritual protection, they pray to God, right? That's great. There's some people that develop all the tools magically and spiritually, right? And put them in place and put in place their defenses and pray to God, right? So people who stand a little bit more on their own, and some people who depend a little bit more on protection. And that's why it's the duty of the community, too, of the guru and the community, right? To stand together to protect the community and all those that need to be protected, and for the community to be strong, right? And well trained in the arts of combat and war, hoping for peace and ready to put down evil when it is found. So keep your kura, wear it, protect yourself with it. It's for everyone. It's really for everyone. It's a technology that's very advanced. And if you're not in the culture that would wear kura, you don't feel like wearing a kura, that's fine, but don't forget to put in place other technologies to protect yourself. Because as we are all computer programs, and magic is a little bit like the code altering structure of that program, right? So the reality of things is you need to protect yourself physically, and you need to protect yourself spiritually and magically, right? You need to protect your mind, you need to protect your peace of mind, you need to protect your peace of body, you need to protect everything, right? As part of a complete security package for programs. So with these last videos, I download security program knowledge into you, giving you this information in ways to understand your tools, to apply your tools, to understand yourself, to apply yourself, and to remember that self-protection and security is extremely important. Thank you for listening to this video on the Zen War channel.